For example, the escapades that I had in Leicester, or in Dutova group, there was a lot of threats coming from that, but I knew that these were weak people, so that I wasn't really, I almost feel like it's an obligation to give them how I felt of relief when I found the answers myself to that. So I started investigating the Quran again, like looking at the tafsir and this and that. And I became practicing, I think, around like anything between 14 to 17. That's when I was going through my journey. Like I did have a period where I was going through like kind of doubts. A bit about myself, I'm a British Egyptian, so I'm from Egyptian background. I was born in 1991 in St. Mary's Hospital, West London. I spent some time in Egypt as well, but the vast majority of my life was in London. I lived in a working class environment, council estates and stuff like that growing up. And then I went to secondary school. I've done an undergraduate and a triple master's and PhD. Effectively, now I'm just doing full-time dawah. I lived in a working class environment in council estates, basically where the government subsidizes your living. And we kept moving houses. Like it was very unstable because I think I went to about 5 primary schools, maybe 6 or 7 even, because we just had to keep moving house. And there was a little bit of instability in that because obviously, you start making friends and then you make new friends and then you're detached and reattached and stuff like that. Maybe it gives you versatility and strength as well, but it was quite unstable from that perspective. And within that, I actually went and spent time in Egypt and lived there as well. I did find it a lot of anxiety growing up though as a child. Yeah, when I was 7, 8 years old, I remember those times. As a child, you get attached very quickly. And obviously in the same time period, that's when I witnessed my mum's divorce with my father. Like this was at the age of 8 years old I was at the time when it happened. I became practicing, I think, around like anything between 14 to 17. That's when I was going through my journey. Like I did have a period where I was going through like kind of doubts. That was the time period where there was questions and I wanted to know like what is this, I almost feel like it's an obligation to give them how I felt of relief when I found the answers myself to that. So I started investigating the Quran again, like looking at the tafsir and this and that, and I realized that there's an answer to every single question and shubha that people have. But then I started collating it from my own knowledge and stuff like that, and I became passionate, to be honest. This is when I became passionate about religion. When around 17 or 18, I became religious. I became very religious compared to my peers in school. I was praying. I was, really taking interest in the Quran. A lot of them were not doing any of that. So I became one of the most religious guys in that sense. For example, the escapades that I had in Leicester, or the Hindu group, there was a lot of threats coming from that, but I knew that these were weak people, so that I wasn't really, yes, there was vigilance, but they were weak people. I wasn't going to let that change how I felt or give me anxiety or something like that. And why is because the Quran itself is a very powerful medium by which and through which people can connect directly with the words of Allah. Sometimes stating the position is better than making an argument. Sometimes asking a question is better than stating the position or making an argument. So we have to vary the tools here, mix it up. And the Quran speaks for itself.